Hello and welcome to Cheshire Audio. And this is a special one because we've hit 3,000 subscribers. Never expected this in a million years, to be honest, because I just started the channel because I was getting a lot of questions about Riga turntable, because I'd sort of seemed to have been sort of zeroed in on as a person to talk to about it, about if you had a problem with an old Riga or whatever. And I was getting a lot of phone calls, and it's actually quite difficult to describe somebody to somebody who's not technical or is not that familiar with the record players, because people, you use a record player, but you don't necessarily take one to bits. And it's quite difficult to sort of explain to people quite simple faults that just needed a bit of glue or a bit of this or a bit of that. So I thought, well, I'll do 3 videos of the 3 main things that happen. And if somebody rings up, rather than speaking for 40 minutes on the phone and getting them really confused, I'll just say, look, send me an email and I'll send you out a video. And all I expected from it was that, viewer numbers would just correlate with the amount of people I sent to it, so probably, 3, 4, 5 views or whatever. But I didn't expect people to search and find these things. And I started to get phone calls, sort of people, I just thinking about buying a cartridge, what do you recommend? And, I like your videos, by the way. Oh, this is strange. People are actually finding this. So I thought, well, I'll just keep doing them. I'll do the odd review, I'll do other things. And it's just sort of mushroomed from there, really. I actually quite enjoy doing them, if I'm honest. I enjoy sitting waffling, talking about hi-fi. So that's good, because that seems to be what works, really. 3,000 subscribers. I looked up the other day, 500,000 views total since the beginning, which is astonishing. I mean, there's big numbers of people. I mean, obviously there's people coming back, I would think. But isn't it amazing? It's just, I'm very, very touched that so many people watch the channel, enjoy the channel, ring me up and tell me they enjoy the channel. That's becoming almost a daily occurrence, which is really lovely. Making some really good friends out of it. So it's been really worth doing. I'm really enjoying it. But what I thought I'd do today, I'm not going to do a competition today, and I mean, you may have been expecting this, but I think I might save that until perhaps 5,000. Let's just give ourselves you never know, it might actually hit 5,000, and perhaps give something a bit more major away, rather than, if you do it every 1,000, I think it's going to be a bit too frequent now. So I just thought I'd do a quick talk about music. Let's not talk about hi-fi, let's talk about music. And the reason this has come about is I was talking to an ex-colleague quite a while ago, to be fair, but I was thinking about it the other day. Because you sort of work in the industry, and I know people say you should never work in an industry that's your hobby, or work in a situation that is your hobby. Generally, I don't think that's quite true with this. I think it's something I enjoy so much. It's sort of yes, it started out as a hobby, then I got a job in it or whatever. It's never really taken the sheen off it. I still love it. The only thing that you could argue that it has actually sort of spoiled is certain music. And the reason for that is, I'd hate to think how many demonstrations I've done to customers over the years. It must be tens of thousands. I mean, probably easily tens of thousands when I think about it, because certainly in the early days, in the 80s, when I used to run Liverpool Brady's, a Saturday it was fairly standard to do 14 demonstrations on a Saturday, possibly even more, because we used to try and sometimes, if people were wanting to hear something that somebody else was already listening to, we'll put them in the same demonstration room, so you were even doubling people up and things. Nothing like as busy as that now, believe me. But yeah, certainly Saturday you'd be doing sort of 6, 7, 8 demonstrations. During the week it was less, but still 3, 4 a day, and it just over the years must really have mounted up. And I've never, and I think a lot of my colleagues have never, because we don't really agree with the principle of it, I've never sort of had a trick recording that you would use and listen to this sounds amazing, doesn't it? I mean, there's certain shops out there even now, I'm not going to mention the brand, but they'll have a very dynamic recording. They'll play it to you loud. You'll get about 30 seconds of it, then it's taken off, and that's amazing, isn't it? Very hard sell, very dominating sort of way of doing things. I tend to say, just bring some music you like. You're booking for a demonstration, bring something you enjoy. Or perhaps bring something that you bought and you're disappointed with. which is always quite a good thing to get people to learn how to understand musicality. Because if you know a piece of music, and you can suddenly think, oh, actually, I understand what the musician's saying here. That's the basic principles of listening to decent hi-fi. It's not about bass and treble. It's about musicality and enjoying it, sort of understanding the talent and getting the hair on the back of your neck standing up with the performance. That's what you're trying to achieve. So that's what I've always said. The drawback with that is there's certain recordings that an awful lot of people seem to choose to bring in, and there's quite a lot of albums that I just can't listen to now. However much I actually like the music, I can't listen to them anymore. So I was just going to go through a few of those. I haven't got the entire set, to be honest. So I might just mention some as we go. But yeah, to start, I can no longer listen to Quincy Jones' The Dude. Great album, really well recorded. People choose it because it's clean, clear, dynamic, got a lot of pace to it. First two tracks, I Know Corrida and the Dude particularly, amazing tracks. I can't do it now. How many thousand times have I heard people put this on now? I can't do it. I can't listen to it. Never been that into the rest of the album, to be honest. Oh, Razzmatazz is quite good, isn't it? But yeah, it's killed it for me. It's killed it. Second, there's not many of these, so don't worry. Second, and this is a surprising one actually, because this isn't general. This was more of a specific incident. In Liverpool, there was the university, and at the university there was a lot of Malaysian students who all sort of lived in a similar area. I think some of them actually apparently were related to the Malaysian royalty. There was a big community of them. They all used to come into the shop and buy hi-fi kit. And there was a group of them that always came in to listen to stuff, and they always brought Linda Ronstadt, Simple Dreams, which is a lovely album. It's a really lovely album. But they would out the cover, put it on, and they would listen to Blue Bayou every time. So pretty much every Saturday, or I think what day they would have come in. Yeah, it probably would have been on a Saturday actually. They'd come in and they'd listen to a couple of record players or a couple of amps or Blue Bayou over and over and over and over again. Not just them actually, but that was my sort of initial thought with Linda Ronstadt, with the Blue Bayou, those guys who were brilliant. They were so funny. But yeah, Blue Bayou. But yeah, it is one we see quite a lot. But that was the first time I come across it, and no, I can't listen to that anymore. Thirdly, and I've never understood this one. I don't understand this one, and I'll tell you why in a second. David Bowie, Let's Dance. Now, one of the reasons I don't understand this is of all the albums you could choose that David Bowie did, why would you choose Let's Dance? It's probably one of his weaker. This is me talking, so if you don't agree, fair enough. I mean, this is the whole thing with music, that we've all got our own sort of views on it. This is from a guy who has just booked to see Gilbert O'Sullivan in concert, so all judgments sort of void at this point. Not his best recording. I find it very bright. It's very dynamic. It's very dynamic and bright. But the amount of people who brought this, and they always play Let's Dance every time. So it's hearing it over and over again, and I don't particularly like the album. It did so much good stuff, and to me this was a bit of a low point. Better than Tin Machine, but it was kind of a very Tin Machine-y feel to it, and I never quite got on with it. Another one which is a bit bizarre. Love the album, bought it when it came out. Except after 30 odd years in audio, War of the Worlds. No one would have believed how many times I've had to listen to this album, and how many times people will try and listen to it all the way through to compare two pieces of equipment. You kind of need a 3-minute track, really, not an entire double album of Jeff Wayne, or something else. Yeah, great album. No, never comes out that name. Another one, similar to the Bowie, actually. Almost without fail, this one seems to turn up. Fleetwood Mac, Tango in the Night. And it's the same as Let's Dance. probably not. I wouldn't say it's possibly the worst album they ever did. Possibly the least likeable recording. Bright, upfront, aggressive in some ways. Some of their earlier stuff is much warmer and smoother and still very, very detailed, but this is very, to me, a little bit hard and upfront and whatever, but it seems to be the one that everybody brings. And they always want to listen to Big Love. If you want to hear Big Love done, sort of to one amazing recording of Big Love, I'm not even sure if it's available on an LP, but get the DVD of one of the live concerts where Lindsey Buckingham does a solo and does Big Love on, it's not acoustic, is it? But it's like an electroacoustic. I've never seen anything like it. The version on here, it's just, like I say, played to death, and I just can't be doing with it anymore. Sorry. But I love Fleetwood Mac, I must admit. They were one of the bands I wish I'd seen, and I didn't see them. I got an opportunity to see them and never got to see them. So, but yeah, love that, but not that album anymore. This one's going back a bit. Don't see this as much now, but for a time, I think one of the hi-fi magazines started to recommend this as a good listening test, and it is brilliantly recorded. A bit bright. It's a bit like Let's Dance and all that, but it's bright and upfront, but copable with, really. Joe Cocker, Sheffield Steel. Fantastic album, actually. Some really good stuff on this. But I have heard this so often now that, you get to the point where you know exactly what's coming next. You can almost I can almost sing the whole album in my head without even having to think about it too hard. Like I say, great album, great recording, actually. Verging on bright, but very good. A bit dated sounding now, that, but it still appears occasionally. But it was certainly mid-90s, early 80s, late 80s, early 90s. This was, probably 1 in 5 people seem to bring it in. It was crazy. Also, going through some stuff I haven't got with me. Anything from Steely Dan. That's another band, isn't it? Steely Dan. Sorry, David. I know you're watching. We had a conversation about this today, and I thought, of course you don't like Steely Dan, do you? I do like Steely Dan, but it's another one that everybody brings. And the Donald Fagen is the other one. Can't listen to is it Nightfly? Can't listen to Nightfly is probably one of the most common albums that turns up, and everybody will pull it out and say, "Oh, this is amazing. Have you ever heard this?" Yes, I've heard it. I've heard that. And to finish, because it's just a quick video, number one in the I can never listen to that again, and there's many reasons for this, is Dire Straits' Love Over Gold. And this is sort of a little bit like War of the Worlds, but this album, I reckon probably most people, I wouldn't say 100% of people bring this in, but it's up there. And the reason it's number one in sort of pet hates, I suppose, now, however good it is, I saw them live in doesn't matter. I saw them live. Apparently they're like their final tour, but I don't think it ended up being their final tour. And they were amazing. It's one of the few bands I've actually been to see that didn't sound any different from their actual studio recordings. You couldn't have told the difference, and it was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. They were very warm on stage and everything. Amazing. But Love Over Gold, again, funnily enough, I wouldn't say it's the best album, really. And everybody brings it in, and everybody seems to want to listen to Private Investigations. Now, when you're listening to, I'm looking something up there. When you're listening to, say, 3 different record players and 3 or 4 different amplifiers, and probably 4, 5, 6 pairs of speakers in a demonstration, and you booked at one time, and there's somebody else booked in about an hour's time, and you do the pre-talk to people saying, "Now, don't listen to the bass and the treble. Listen to the musicality. Is it making you tapping your foot? Are you, is it musically sort of engaging? Are you, don't listen, like I say, don't get involved in the hi-fi things." And you'll say, "Yeah, okay, what do you want to listen to?" And they'll say, "Have you heard this? This is a great album. Can you put on Private Investigations?" And private investigations is something like 4 days long, or that's how it seems. And everybody who puts it on, generally, all they want to hear is the breaking glass at the end. So you'll listen all the way through the track till they hear the breaking glass, and they go, oh, right, yes, okay. Oh, that was very clear then. And you just say, well, I had a talk with you about bass, treble and musicality and just, but those all the way through. Oh yeah, that's fantastic. That. And I've done demonstrations where I've had to play this through 6, 7, 8 times, all the way through the track. Sort of trying to steer them onto, perhaps we'll listen to a shorter track that, I just want to hear the breaking glass. Can I just hear it again? But I just want to hear the breaking glass. So yeah, this one wins, or loses, I suppose you could say. So yeah, there you go. Records I can't listen to anymore. There probably are many more actually. I suppose you could say Thomas Dolby Flat Earth, which I haven't got. That's over there actually. I think I've got this over there. I could have used that. Quite a lot of the Dire Straits actually. But to be honest, I think Love of Gold seems to be the one. What's the other one with MTV on it? That one, can't remember the name of the album. That one seems to crop up a lot. Not a great recording, but people seem to turn up with it quite a lot. That's it, really. Yeah, I can't think of any more. I was trying to keep this one brief. So yeah, I'll leave it there. If you've got any other suggestions, anybody from the industry who's who's worked in the industry and done hi-fi demonstrations, yeah, if you want to leave a comment. Quite funny, really. Look, again, I wouldn't say I hate the music. It's just I think you're just overplaying something like that. I think you just get to the point where you just can't listen to it anymore. And I think that sometimes happens to bands that are very, very successful, and it gets to the point where people have just heard it enough. And they suddenly become very unfashionable overnight, and well, a bit like Gilbert O'Sullivan. And yeah, and it sort of all falls flat for them. Anyway, that's that. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching again. Thanks for all the subscriptions. Thanks for all the views. I intended to do a retro review quite soon. I've got something in the pipeline I'm going to do. I'm going to do a refurbish on a turntable, which I mentioned the other day. I've got one system deck downstairs that needs a bit of rebuild, so I'll do that, and I'll do a video of that. Nothing new to review at the moment. Actually, things are going a bit. There's not a lot of new stuff coming in at the moment, but I've got a few things that should be coming in a bit, so I'll perhaps do a few more sort of standard reviews as well. So yeah, like I say, thanks for watching. I'll leave it there. I'll see you in a future video. Thank you very much.